What's happening, everyone? Nick Gilkins here, West Ham Fan TV, back once again for another Friday night pint. And then there was two. There's been a couple of disasters in the team tonight. Three of them have flaked out. Well, not to any any fault of their own, but it leaves us two. So I thought we'd want to invite someone else in, and they'll be in soon. Sorry, we're a bit late, as we say. We're trying to sort out these issues, but it doesn't look like it can be resolved with the others guys joining us. But we'll see. You never know. If things change, then they will. But it was us two, Scott. How you been, mate?
I've been good, man. Been good. Busy, but good.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's I'm dying inside, to be honest with
you. Working too much, mate.
Never worked so hard in my life, man. Honestly.
And it don't help with this weather. This weather's terrible to work in. This weather's great to be on holiday, laying on the beach doing nothing. Mate, but when you got a graft in it, mate,
I'll be honest with you. I hate the hot weather. I hate it. Can't stand it. I just find it annoying.
Yeah,
it's annoying. It's too hot to stand in. It's like, as you say, like I don't even like going to a beach and it being this hot.
I don't mind that, mate. I just don't like working in it. That's all. I'm happy. Stick me on a beach. Stick me beside a pool.
Don't you? I'll never forget Greece. I'll never forget that will live with me forever. And apparently, it's next Saturday. It's meant to be of a similar temperature.
Yeah. Do you remember that? Remember we were sort of we had a proper heavy session the night before, and it was like 44 degrees in the shade.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the pool wouldn't cool you down, and you would instantly dry as you got out of it.
Yeah,
like an instant dry.
Yeah,
and I'll never forget the day when we were sitting on the beachfront having like a meal right by the sea, and it was as if someone like the wind coming in, right? You'd think like it's going to cool you down, right? And it was like someone holding one of them fucking blow heaters in your face.
It's like that, you know when you cook in the oven and you open the oven door and the heat just hits you.
Yeah, it was like that. It was. I swear on my life, it was like that. I remember I was eating spaghetti bolognese and I was sweating into it. And I was like, I can't do this, man. This is ridiculous.
That's it, mate. That's it. But yeah, that was a cracking holiday, man. That was really.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. A few years ago now, actually.
I think it's good. 6-7 years ago, I think.
Maybe. No, not 7.
No, I think I had
5. I think 4 or 5.
5 or 4, yeah.
4 or 5, I think. Someone has come to join us. It's none of our usual co-hosts though, but this dickhead's here. Look, fucking hell, what are you filming on,
dickhead?
Tom's gone back to dial-up.
What's gone on? What's gone on?
I don't fucking know, bro.
Why is it so high?
Because I've got.
Is that your sperm on the lens? Is that what it is? What have you been watching?
Yeah, you know what I've just seen.
Tilt your camera down.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. You look like a thumb.
So I better be careful what I say. I was about to say something. No, don't worry. I'll tell you after.
Tilt your camera down. That's it. Go down a bit further. Down a bit further. What's going on? Why are you disappearing in point? What is going on? My goodness. All right, that'll do. It's not that important. How are you, Tom?
I know what it is. It's the light. Hang on.
It's not the light. I'll tell you why you've got a virtual background setting on.
I ain't. There's nothing there.
You definitely
you've got the setting on the thing because you're all blurry.
Oh, how do I turn it?
You're turning into a brick wall, bruv.
Yeah, because that's why I usually have my green screen, but I can't be able to set it up. How do I turn it off?
Go into settings.
God damn.
Virtual background.
Turn it off.
I don't have a green screen.
There you go.
No, don't click that, you idiot.
I ain't clicking it. What about that?
That's better. There you go.
Do it again.
What do I do?
Oh no!
It looks like that little picture. You know that little picture you used to draw in school of that little geezer with his nose hanging over the wall? You you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this. Fuck it, why not?
No, just turn it off. Turn it off.
No, I quite like it, man.
All right, you
I can't
keep it.
see
if you
no
want.
one in the background now.
It's just so low. It looks so boring that it's unbelievable. But anyway,
Right now.
Gus
That's
was
fair
here.
enough.
That was it.
Is that better?
That's it, mate. That's it.
Is it just the three of us?
Just the
Yeah,
three
mate.
of us.
Just the three of us.
Thank you very much for joining us. It only took us 5 minutes to set this shit up. Thank you very much for joining us. Everyone in the chat, we're going to be talking about a few subjects. Don't be afraid. If you're new around here, don't be afraid to get involved in the chat. We do read out the comments, and we do get you involved. So I think the first point of order is that we've just played a game. We won 2-0. Did anyone watch it?
Nah.
No. Well, I watched it. It was all right. It was all right. A lot of youngsters were out. A couple of them quite impressive. I thought Elise was very good. I thought Connor Coventry was quite good in the middle. Who else did I think? Ashby was decent. I think we did look a little bit susceptible. I'll tell you what, mate. I think we would have got beat if this team could finish, because they opened us up at times like fucking like a can of worms. To be quite honest with you, they had a couple of long strikes as well, a couple off the post, one off the bar. But listen, it's not about the result, to be honest with you. It's about the performance, and we done all right. We done okay. A little bit of time.
Were they more closer to full strength than the other side?
I don't know. I don't know. Fuck they are.
I'm just saying, like, you know, the problem is you can't. It's first pre-season game. It's all about the fitness, isn't it? And you know, not the performance, not so much the performance. It's all about fitness and getting game time. And you know, you look at that starting 11. It's a good mixed match. There was a lot of subs at half time as well, weren't there? I think six changes. So
the only thing I was a bit disappointed with was Oggy didn't get any minutes. I thought he might have got some minutes today, but he didn't. That is. But Diop got some minutes. Zuma got some minutes. Elise and Dawson started the first half, so it's sort of starting to show you, I think, who he thinks his starters are at the moment. Obviously, he ain't got a Guerd back or back in yet. Ariola didn't get any minutes. They put Trott on the second half, and he was quite poor, to be honest with you. There was a couple of negatives. I don't know whether anybody in the chat's going to agree with me here, because I know that, you know, one of the players does split opinion so much, but Benrahma was poor. He was poor. Yeah. Bad touches, missed a sitter, an absolute sitter. Like heavy touches, afraid to dribble, couldn't take people on. He did set up the second goal. He had a shot that was saved, but he wasn't very impressive, in my opinion. It's the touches. It's the touches from him. It's you know, there's some times when you look at like a heavy touch. I think someone put him in and he touched it and it went way off of his foot. Now I know it's only pre-season, but I've seen it so many times from him. He needs to be getting better at that. He needs to be getting better at that, because he's a very talented player, and his touch should be everything, because he should be one of them players that get it ball under control and you never know what he's going to do with it. He shouldn't be getting away from him like that.
That's the problem with that type of play. You're looking him to be a key part of your game, so you want to feed him the ball as much as possible.
Yeah,
and if his touch is letting him down, it's not good enough for a player of his level. Look, we can't go too harsh on him, because again, it is just pre-season. You know, they've got to work these kinks out. But if you're getting to 4 or 5 games into the pre-season and you're still doing that, then you've really got to be asking questions of yourself and the manager of why he's being picked. You know, this season is a season that you need Benny, if he's going to have a proper impact at the club, to be stepping up and now taking us on further. And he really needs to up his game to be able to do that, because he doesn't. Go on.
I think there's a couple coming in, and I think he's going to struggle if he doesn't buck his ideas up with the standard of player that we want to bring in. He's going to struggle to get in the side, and he could well be sold. I don't think Moisey fancies him anyway. I don't think we should be selling people. Don't get me wrong, but time and time again for me, and I don't want to start off, moaning, but time and time again for me, too often he has bad games. He's a bit like Felipe Anderson, in my opinion. He's too inconsistent. It's too many. He has one good game every 15. And, I know his stats were quite impressive, but, you can't base everything off stats because he should be a lot better than what he is. But there we go.
You say you can't base everything off stats, but the problem you've got is that he's still got more goals and assists than some of the targets
but Anderson had good stats in his first season, and he went to shit.
Yeah, don't insult the geezer. Fucking hell! Don't compare him to Anderson.
I think he's like Anderson.
He's done more for us than Anderson. He's not as hyped as Anderson. He's a good impact player. He ain't a starter, all right? I wouldn't personally sell him, but at the same time, if you're going to sell Benrahma, who's he going to go to?
Brentford.
He's not going to go to a side that's better than us, is he?
No. He's going to go to
no massive loss. But if you're going to sell Benrahma, he has to be replaced, especially with Vlasic going out the door. I don't think he's a bad player. I mean, I think that he can show moments. I just think he's inconsistent. Maybe he's not. I wouldn't say he's not Premier League quality, but I think at times he struggles. He has more bad than good games, but I just think he doesn't start enough, which is fair enough. I think his role at the club is justified. I think as a sporadic player, there are moments where he has done well. I don't mind the guy. I'd much prefer him to that fucking useless twat Anderson.
The thing is I wouldn't sell him. There's no point selling him. Like you said, you're going to sell him to one of your lower rivals, if anything, and then there's the opportunity that he comes back and bites you in the backside. He ain't going to be going to the teams that finished above us last season. It'll be teams that are around us or just underneath. And like you said, he has got a role there. He is a good impact player. He can come off the bench and cause team problems, and that's what we need. We can't afford to be letting so many players go out and then, like you said, not replacing them. We're still 4 light for me from a squad that we need without letting anybody go.
There are players to go out as well. There are players. I think Diop's going to go. Personally, I think he'll be at Fulham.
If we get 20 million for him, that is a perfect bit of money laundering.
No, I do understand that, but he's going to go. You've got Masuaku, who I would say if an offer came in for him, then we would definitely say yes. Benrahma could well go. If a good offer come in for Benrahma, and I've got a feeling that Benrahma may be talking to people as well, like letting them know that it's not quite happening here for me. You know what I mean? Like, and is anyone out there to save me? Because, like, I think if an offer came in for him, I think we would consider it. But as you say, we've let 5 go, and we're only 2 up. And we had a light squad last season. For me, we're 6 or 7 off. And I mean, they can't all be world beaters. But let's be fair, the transfers are going in the right direction, in my opinion. Areola's a good bit of business. I think Aguerd, I don't really know much about Aguerd. He's a good bit of business. And I did say it seems a little bit different, but 4 weeks to go before the season starts, you see what signing, the Gabriel Jesus signing has done to Arsenal today. He's sort of giving them a bit of hope, giving them a bit of a spring in their step. They needed a forward. They've gone and got a forward. We've needed a forward for years. Like,
if we go into this season without a strike, if we go into the Man City game, we ain't signed a striker, that's absolutely, totally and utterly unacceptable.
I think it's been. I'll be honest with you. I think it's been.
And I don't think it wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either. And it wouldn't surprise me if we got to the end of the transfer window and we're scrapping around because we've chased Brozier for 7 weeks, and apparently you can't chase 2 strikers at once. You have to concentrate all your efforts on one. And if he says no at the last minute, then you're pretty screwed, because that's what West Ham seem to have done for the last
They do
3 or
it all
4
the
transfer
time.
windows.
Yeah, that's the thing is, right? Go with the Broja thing. Look, if you're going to chase him, you set yourself a deadline. You've got to set yourself a deadline. You've got to say, right, if he ain't signed by this date, then we move on to the next target. Whether he wants to come, he don't want to come. You can't be dragging it out. We need to do that.
What they should be doing, Scott, like every other club does, is identify other people, start talking to them, and make a decision your end, not their end.
Yeah, exactly. Don't hang on the player like what seems to be going on with the Lingard scenario. We're hanging on the player.
Let that go, man. The geezer's gone to fucking America. Look at places there.
That's what I'm saying. If you set yourself a deadline, if he ain't done that time, then move on to the next target. You've got to have.
Hold on, who's gone where?
Lingard's in America.
He's gone to America, and apparently he's talking to LA Galaxy and Los Angeles FC.
Oh, really? For me, that suits his lifestyle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. To be fair to him, I'd rather if I didn't support it, I'd rather play for West Ham because I support West Ham. But if I didn't, I'd rather play in America. Get nice weather all the time. You literally get the top. Like we were saying this other day, Nick. You go out and you party with celebrities and all that. That's why everyone goes there.
I do understand that, and seeing as the character that he is, it would suit him. He thinks he's a social media superstar. He thinks he's got this fucking mental brand that's going to be the next big thing. He's 29 years old. I don't think he's. And to be fair, if this turns out, I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, right? But if he's talking to, when he's got Premier League clubs after him on that sort of money, and he's going out to talk to the likes of LA Galaxy, LAFC, whatever it is, Los Angeles, all of that sort of thing, then his mind isn't on football.
Yeah.
It's on earning money, and it's on about the lifestyle. Now, if he feels like, you see what he's doing in America, he's dancing around like a child, to be fucking quite honest. And if he's going out there to talk to them, I would cut that now, because he's still at an age where he can play in the World Cup. Yeah, he's still at an age where he can get picked for England, but he's going over to the US to. Obviously, for a lifestyle change, and if his mind's set on that, I would fuck him off now. I wouldn't even bother.
He's putting himself out of pasture, isn't he? He's going to the retirement home of all top European footballers, because no one really goes there in the peak of their career looking to further their career. If you're American, that's where you start out and you progress from now. But European players going out there, it's a retirement home. And that's it'll always be they can hype up that league as much as they like, and they've signed some top players in the past from Europe who have said, "Oh yeah, it's always excited me to go out there." No, it's not.
Dave Hammer says,
but he's talking to the 2 Los Angeles clubs as well.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just sad. It's a retirement home. That's what he's doing. He's just putting himself out the pasture. And what's the point? Yeah, it's like going to play in China and say, "Oh, I've always dreamed of going to play in China."
What, like an outage?
That's what I mean.
This is what we need, right? To have a good transfer window. In my opinion, right? We've got the goalkeeper, we've got the centre back, we've got a midfielder. We need another centre mid. We need a left back. We need a winger with pace. We need lots of pace. If we don't get any pace, then mate, because we break well.
Yeah,
some of the foot we play, we can look good on the counter attack, but we struggle a lot of times with pace, just getting to the ball, getting out paced. And I think we need 2 strikers, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing is
because a lot of teams on our level, they have 3 or 4 strikers in their squad. So why can't we?
Yeah, that's it. You're right, mate. And the thing is, like you said, especially when the way we defend set pieces in our own half, with every single player within the 18-yard box or in the last 20, 30 yards, you're then relying to counter, and you need that pace to do that. We have that with Bowen's got a bit about him. Antonio.
Bowen's good on the ball, but he ain't the quickest.
Yeah, but he can outpace quite a lot of centre halves, if you get what I mean. If you put him up against them. Antonio's not getting any faster. You know,
No, mate, he's lost about 2 yards of pace.
And then you've got,
you've seen it so quick as well.
Yeah, and you've got players like Fornals and Benny who are not the quickest, you know. And we need a winger that's quick and who's direct. You know, we've got players who can play wide who are a bit tricky, but we need someone who's a bit more.
We need a natural winger, but I think Bowen's the only natural winger.
Yeah,
I like Fornals. I like his work rate, but you need that extra edge, and we need strength in depth because, like, I went out. I'm out with a friend of mine last week who goes West Ham, and he made a very good point to me. He said pretty much every game last season, apart from maybe the 2 Yarmolenko goals against Aston Villa and Seville, we don't have any subs to bring on that actually make us stronger or make that difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No, we don't have enough variety. This is where we go wrong. We can't afford to go into this season with one striker with about 2 useful subs on the bench, which is the rest made up of youth. We just can't. It'll be criminal if we do.
Well, yeah, you are right, mate. What is it? It's 5 sub. Well, we can use 5 subs this year, can't we? So them 5 subs have all got to be game changers at some point. You know, whether it's a defender that can come on and see out a game when you're trying to get the win if you're leading, or whether it's someone to bolster that midfield, or another 1 or 2 attacking players that can go and get you a goal. If we go into the season, like you said, with just 1, 2 impact players, you know, you're just carrying. Look, you've got the youngsters. The youngsters good, but they're unproven. You know, we've got to have 5 quality subs to come on.
Yeah, I do.
I
do think there's a couple of spaces to be had by the youth, but there was too many times last season where we ended up with 2 goalkeepers on the bench.
Yeah. I think every European game we had 2 goalkeepers.
Because I don't see the point in that for a start. Like, I'd rather take another kid for the experience than have another goalkeeper on the bench. Like, you don't need 2 goalkeepers on the bench. But there is going to be definitely a couple of promotions from the youth, I think. But if we go into the season lighter than we were now, that is unacceptable. Yeah. But I don't listen. I'm quite confident that we're going to get a few more in, but it's just, as you say, they've got to be quality. You know, I don't want to be scrapping around on the last day of the transfer window. You know, because there's a lot of games between now or the beginning of the season and the end of the transfer window. There's about 4 or 5 games before.
Last season in August there were 3 games. This season there's 5 games in August. And then straight after the window shuts, you don't have the September international break. You got Chelsea away.
Yeah. So we need to, we like the fact that we ain't got a strike. It fucking annoys me, to be honest with you. It does annoy me. It's annoyed me for a long time. The fact, and I've said it every transfer window. If we don't get someone on the, in the previous window, we should be ready to sign someone on the first day of the next window. There should not be any of this delay.
There's not really an excuse, is there?
Not really.
If you with Moyes, what he said was there was no one that he wanted in January. No one available that he wanted for the right price or that would suit the team. So he must have identified targets in January that he wanted that weren't available. So then that's what we should have been doing as soon as the season closed. As soon as you get to that transfer window opening, them targets he identified, then he needs to be bringing in. There's work. Look, we've seen with Perkins getting tapped up. There's workings that goes on within the season. You can't tell me players and agents don't talk and managers.
Even if they're not meant to, Scott, there can be still inquiries made.
Of course they can.
You know what I mean? Like, you can talk to clubs at the beginning and saying, look, we're thinking about making an approach for ABC. Do you think he will be available in the summer? And what price would you be looking at for him? That can be done. That's not tapping up. That's approaching a club. You've seen it. There's players that sign for clubs before the transfer window is even opened. Yeah, because it's a mutual agreement, because they've been having discussions for months. There's no law about not having discussions. You just can't buy them. legally. Like,
so
why we're not talking to people fucking for 2 years really, and saying like, you know, if this player comes available, tell us first, and you know, is there any possibility that this person might be available? We've got this much money. How much money would it cost? You know, to realistically pick him up in the summer. Like, it's not the fact that we're still scouting and still looking for players. Don't get me wrong. I understand if you've got a target and then somebody else comes available quickly. I do understand like a change in direction, but you know, we should have already had at least one in. Yeah. Like, the striker thing worries me because I think he's going to be buying wingers.
The thing is if you say Brozier's our top striker target, Chelsea have just got rid of Lukaku.
Yeah, they've got to sign 2 or 3 before they even think about letting him go.
And that's the thing now. You're waiting on that, and it's probably with him. He's probably waiting on the same to see what Chelsea do, because at the moment he's probably their number 2 striker.
I think
over Werner.
I think the imminent signing of Sterling will change that.
Yeah,
because they like to play the false 9. Like it'll be Havertz is probably their first choice striker as a false 9, and Werner can play there, of course. But then like Sterling can also play a false 9 as well. So I think once they get Sterling in,
there is also talks of Ronaldo going there.
Yeah,
at the moment,
and that's the thing. Then if you're Brozier and you see them 2 players coming in the door, then you know that's your way out. And it's good that we're waiting in the wings, but we can't hang on the coattails of them looking to sign these players before we go and do it. Look, I know it's a merry-go-round, and when one club lets a player go or gets a player in, it frees up another space. But
Gavin, I would 100% go for Belotti. I would go for Belotti and Brozier. He's on a free.
But that's the problem with us. We don't do we don't do things that make sense. He's been quiet though.
Higher wages, but you know, we should have. Moyes don't rate Belotti. Moyes don't rate anyone. Let's be fair. He don't rate strikers. He doesn't look like he can pick a striker. He makes them.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why. Like, I think it sort of like boosts his ego when he.
Well, if that's the case, Traore is meant to be available. Go and get him.
I don't think he'll come to us.
Why wouldn't he?
That would be unreal.
But
I'd like him. I would like. You need pace. There's no more fucking pace than him.
No, exactly. He's Antonio 2.0, isn't he? Rapid, built. You know, struggles to finish as well, a bit like Antonio does sometimes. But you know, he's a perfect candidate for Moyes' turning a winger into a striker. You know, if that's the route that Moyes wants to go, then that's what we need to go, because I just find it a bit madness as well that we're willing to let Diop go. You know, with the fact that Oggie's now what, 33,
35
or 35. Dawson's what, 32, 33,
31.
Okay, 31. So you know they're in their 30s. Dawson ain't getting any quicker. You know, look, he's a solid centre half, same as Ginger Collins, solid centre half, but sometimes their pace lets them down. So you've got to be looking at Diop as, all right, unless Elise and is it Baptiste, the other young centre half, unless you're looking at them to break through next season or the season after. Someone like Diop, who I thought towards when he come in at the end of the season looked quite good, you know, send him out on loan him to a Fulham.
There's a catch there, Scott. He's shit.
I don't think he's shit. He's shit against physical sides, 100%.
Well, that's no good. He's meant to be the defender.
Yeah, but he's always Dom, since we've had him, and I've said this every time I've done a preview with him, when we come up against someone like Burnley who've got solid centre forwards, he struggles. But against sort of different style strikers, he thrives for it. You know, Brozier would ruin him all day long. Lukaku would ruin him all day long. But when you come up against more technical forwards, he does okay.
Just good enough.
Scott, can you take some comments, mate? Just while I sort that out in the kitchen.
Yeah, go on.
He's setting the place on fire.
That's what I think he's done. He's got a chicken in the oven. That's what it is. The thing is, right, he always does this to me, yeah, but he don't warn me he's doing it. I should practice by now. I should know, shouldn't I? We'll go back to a few of the comments about Lingard if I can find some.
I'll find them.
Yeah, go on, mate. You have a look. I'll find some.
I can't click them, though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, quick one here. Matt Powell, happy birthday tomorrow, mate.
Dom his shit. I presume that's about my hairline.
Matt says we need Zaza, Super Zaza back.
No.
Zaza.
Not even funny.
It's an interesting one. Forwards are disappearing for the game. Everyone used to have at least 2 up top, 4 in the squad in total. Nowadays, clubs just have 1 up front, and it's hard to sign them if they're not going to be starting. Makes a fair point in there with so many clubs playing the false number 9.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I think that it's rare nowadays that you get like you think about it, right? The last few players to win the Golden Boot are all wingers. Son's a winger.
Yep.
Salah's a winger. I think Mane won it recently. He's a winger.
Yeah.
Aubameyang won it as he sort of plays wide as well. But then you also remember Kane's still prolific. Haaland is prolific. Probably will be prolific this season for City.
But you are right, mate. You look at that. You look at them probably over the previous 5-6 seasons. Kane would be the only number 9.
Sorry, there's a guy here that says we need Sacco back. Absolutely not.
No, not now. He's past it. There's a reason you ain't playing. But do you know what I mean? Like you said, Kane's the only actual proper number 9 that's finishing top of the scoring charts.
Yeah,
in there.
The game's changing. I think like false 9s all for tactical reasons and bollocks.
But the thing is, I still feel if you have a proper out and out striker in your side, you can switch it up a bit. You know, you've got to have that variety. It's the same as what we said with the wingers. You've got to have that variety in the game to adapt to different situations.
But it is what it is, mate. Like, I think not Haller. I just saw Haller in the comments. I think I was surprised if he tries to move Bowen central. And Bowen has played central before at times, and he's all right central.
Yeah, he did. He's done well. He's done well at times when he's gone in there. But again, you wouldn't just want
you're missing out that attack on the right, ain't you?
Yeah. To be fair, I'd rather have someone else up top to keep Bowen out wide, and I'd push Antonio out wide as well, because I still feel Antonio can do a good job as a winger.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like it's the pace. The problem with Moyes is he doesn't try that enough. Like, I do think he needs to sort of rotate them two if it's going wrong. But
this one here, Lingard is in the US for pleasure, not career. Another one on Lingard. If Lingard goes anywhere else, he's wishing his football career gone. Playing League One quality football when he's only 29 is such a waste of quality.
People keep on saying he's in the USA for a holiday. He's been in the USA for a long fucking time to be on a holiday.
Vegas, weren't he?
Well, the problem is
Vegas, New York, and
unless he knows where he's actually going footballing wise, or he's just letting his agents deal with it, you'd be more concerned about where your next paycheck's coming from than partying.
Well, I don't think he has to be concerned himself where his next paycheck's coming from. We're out of that era, I think. But you know, if he's serious about playing football, you know, he should have been knocking on someone's fucking door on the 1st of July and saying, like, come, like, you know, is there a place here for me?
How's your chicken, Nick?
It's fine. There wasn't a chicken.
This one, Happy Hammer 82. Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins, or DCL would improve our squad first team. Why don't?
I'm sorry. I made this greatest of respect. He's in dreamland. No chance. I'd like any one of them, but that won't happen. Because Villa will look at us as a direct rival for like outside chance. Brentford have got a big season ahead. I think they could be in relegation trouble because second season syndrome teams will find them out. They're losing Eriksen. They won't want to lose their best striker. Calvert-Lewin, it costs too much money.
And they've lost Richarlison.
And to be fair, I don't rate Calvert-Lewin as much as I think he's overhyped.
He had a good season a couple of years, like season before last, but he didn't really do much this season. But he's injury prone and all, isn't he?
That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, Ollie Watkins, I'd take Ivan Toney, but like you said, I don't think they're going to get him. This one here, he won't go MLS, boys. One chance to go to the World Cup. All speculation up to the last deal of his career. Probably wants 5 years at 150k a week. Someone's asking how close Boja, and he wants to stay in London.
I don't think he's close in the terms of I don't think Chelsea want to talk yet. I think he would come. I think he would come to us.
That's the problem with us, though. We always got to wait for other teams to do their business before we do ours. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, there was a few
domino
subjects
effect,
that was like flying around on the live stream earlier, saying like, why do we always seem to have like so many bids rejected? And I would say that was because we go in low. We go in low. We go in with too many low ball offers. It's the way our board work.
Scattergun approach.
Yeah.
That's what that's what surprised me so much about getting the Flynn Downes signing, though. That just come out of the blue. There's obviously something going on behind the scenes, but like we heard about it, and then 24 hours later, it was a job done.
Yeah, it was a lot because he was linked with Leicester, I think.
Palace,
Palace, by all means, thought they had him wrapped up, and it was only that we came in sort of last minute. And he's a West Ham boy, isn't he? And must have been like a dream come true to him when we come calling for him. But he looks, I looked at his statistically, he looks very impressive.
He had the highest pass completion rate in
all 4 leagues.
All 4 divisions, and that's no mean feat. I think second in that was Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Swansea have always played that style of football, though, haven't they? They've always been that passing team.
Well, look when they were in the Premier League and Leon Britton was there. He had a better pass completion rate than Xavi.
Yeah.
So it goes to show it's as I said, it's a stats game, but sometimes stats can be misleading.
No, I think he's all right. I think it's a decent signing. Like he's young, it's homegrown. Like obviously he'll fit the homegrown quota. He supports the club. We need a centre mid. He's either going to be a gem like Bowen, or he just won't be able to cut it out. It's not. There'll be nothing in between. It'll be one of them 2 ways.
Could he force his way into starting?
Yeah, I think so. If we have enough, if we get through to the group stage of the Conference League, he'll have enough chances to prove himself, and then we'll see. Because it's not alien for Rice or Soucek to get an injury. There's obviously debate around Soucek's form. Should Soucek be dropped or rested? He'll get some chances because it's going to be a very, very hectic season.
I'll be honest with you, though, Dom. I thought that about Krell. I thought that about Vlasic.
Yeah, but the difference is, sandwich in this season is a World Cup, and we are going to have a lot of tired players. And
I'm with you on that.
He's obviously not going to go to the World Cup, is he? So.
No. That's the thing. I think as well, Connor Coventry will probably get a chance as well this season.
If he does, then we don't need to sign another centre mid.
No, and that's how I'm sort of with that signing there. I think from what I've seen of Connor Coventry and the way people speak about him, I think that he has got the ability to step in. Look, he's not at the moment. I wouldn't say someone who's going to nick Rice's or Soucek's place. But I could see him playing alongside one of the pair, if you know what I mean. Because he'll give us something like what Noble gave us. And he's getting international experience now. And I just think with the Conference League plus the World Cup sandwich in between the league, we're going to need to do something that Moyes don't like doing and mix it up a bit.
So I think, why not? Why not? Like, if you want to save yourself some money, like for buying a central mid, it's like, why not? Basically, why not?
Let's ask Ryan.
Please.
Ryan's joined us.
Hello, you all right?
Could he start, Ryan? Flynn Downes. Sorry to chuck you in a deep end.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. He looks an exciting player. I love that he's a West Ham fan. I loved his press conference yesterday wearing his granddad's scarf. Comes from a big West Ham family. As Scott was saying there, like you got Connor Coventry, but with Downes, I think that it's a good sign. It's good money for a player like him. It's always a risk when you buy from the Championship, but listen, we've been lucky with what we've signed from the Championship lately. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in West Ham shirt. I think he surrounds himself with better players. He's going to become a better player. He's going to watch how players conduct themselves on and off the pitch in the Premier League. So he'll only grow with experience, and I'm looking forward to him. Does he start? If Rice and Souček are fit, probably not. But you never know. 3 of them in the middle together. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What I've seen of him, he looks like if Declan Rice and Bowen had a love child. The way he talks, the way he looks, he just looks like him, and he sounds like Declan Rice. And now I'm excited to see him in a West Ham shirt. And as I said, for me, Mark Noble leaving the club, who obviously is a massive West Ham fan, loves the club, replacing him with someone similar, loves the football club, and is a big West Ham fan. So it's exciting times. I think what we've signed so far this season for less than 50 million, I think it's been good business so far, but there's still a lot to do.
We were just talking about this. I was saying it's going in the right direction, but we've lost so many. We need to, and we was light anyway. We just need to step it up a little bit. And that pursuit of strikers and some players. I said there's deadlines to be had with some of these players. I think that, and I think some of them should be passing if they're hanging on to the end of the summer, especially with the Lingard deal. I think they should be moving on.
Yeah, when I look at a player when he joins a club, you always look at the response from the fans from the club that he's leaving. And all I've seen, someone just put up there, the Swansea fans are excited for him, which is rare, but they know he can go on to bigger and better things. And it shows what he's like. Even Ipswich fans as well, because he played for Ipswich. Mm-hmm. And I think Jimmy Walker come out and said that he worked with him at Ipswich, and he said that he was going to go on in a few seasons' time to be at the very top. So he comes with, a lot of people said good things about him. So I'm excited to see him in a West Ham shirt and just listening to him talk and how grounded he is. And as I said, surround yourself with better players, you become a better player. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the West Ham shirt. But you're right, we definitely need more. And with Jesse Lingard now, I would focus on other transfers. And if Lingard comes off at the end of the window, then great. If he don't, we've got other players in. We've got to start looking elsewhere now.
Yeah, you're right, mate. And that's what we were saying. It's, the deadline's got to be there. If he don't want to come, if he wanted to come, he'd be here now. That's how you got to look at it. Pre-season started. If you want to play for a club and you're passionate about playing for that club and really want to try it, you're gonna be done deal over the line. You got 4 years time. You can go partying as much as you like in America.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. He should have been knocking on someone's door, getting ready for pre-season, but he isn't. And listen, there's nothing we can do. He doesn't.
To be honest, we've all played football and we all hated pre-season, so maybe he's just trying to drag it out. That he doesn't have to do all the do they still do doggies and things like that, Scott?
Still do. It's a cross-country running that used to kill me.
I remember that time when they used to get the hurdles out, mate. I said, I ain't a horse. I'm not going to be running down the weed, jumping over hurdles. I ain't doing that. All because Gripper watched an Ajax video once.
But yeah,
they're all about Wilshere retiring.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. One thing that has popped up today is Jack Wilshere. 30. What is he? 30? 30 years old, retired from football. Sad end to a bit of a wanker, to be honest with you. But he was a talent at one point. But listen, I think, me personally, with all due respect to him, I think he's nicked a living for the last 8 years. To be honest,
stand the geezer.
There's a few players out there, and I named them earlier on our stream. I think obviously Kieran Dyer was one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Andy Carroll might have been one. Him, and who was the other one? I said who used to be fucking injured all the time. I can't remember. There was another one, but like there is a point when it wasn't Ljungberg. There is a point where he had all the potential in the world. At 19, 20 years old, he was a fantastic player, Jack Wilshere. Don't get me wrong. Injuries done him. And, at your body, you're better than anyone yourself. And he would have known at 22, 23, he's probably finished. And he's dragged out his career for 7 years, getting paid £100,000 a fucking week, and not playing any games. I think he's had people on, to be honest with you.
I think he's shameless. I think he's fucking shameless. I think when he went to us, it was one of the most stupidest things we've done in recent years because we all knew how it was going to turn out. People, you had people trying to convince everyone, oh no, it's an upgrade. He's going to be our best midfielder. Didn't do anything.
You do have to question it a little bit because
first 4 games and we lost them all.
When he came to us, it just come off the back of a loan move to Bournemouth where he'd played 30 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of looked at that and thought, maybe his injuries are behind him. And I was quite excited by the.
Can I correct you there?
Yeah.
That Bournemouth loan was a year earlier. And he went back to Arsenal, barely featured. His last season at Arsenal, but he only featured in like Europa League games and.
Yeah, but that was by choice rather than injury.
No, I think it was down to injury as well.
Well, whatever. But
obviously,
he played 30 games for Bournemouth and all that sort of thing. And he signed for us. I was quite excited for him. If you play 30 games for Bournemouth, maybe it was one of these, we have heard stories of these fucking people before where footballers, they feel a little something and they just refuse to play. And like there's a lot more of that goes on than you think, like where they could get through games, but they just tell me, no, I can't. And
I think that's just a dynamic of a lot of the younger generation now. And you see it with, back in the days, it ain't that long ago, but back when we were all playing from, late teenagers into our early 20s, you felt a slight pull or something like that. You just run it off. You just kept going. And, it's all right. You can sit there and say that, but nowadays it is literally like that. If you get a little pull or something, they go, I need to come off, or then they say, oh, yeah, I've done this. And then 5 minutes later, they're standing there going, oh, can I go back on? Wait a minute. 5 minutes ago. It's a generational thing. There's a lot of, I don't know. It's just, I think with some people, they're just built differently nowadays.
He started, when he signed for us, he started the first 4 games and we lost them all. And there was talk of shipping Declan Rice out on loan to accommodate him. If he didn't get injured, Rice wouldn't have had the career he's had at us. I can tell you that now, because there was talk of Rice out on loan. So that was a fucking blessing in disguise. He got injured in September. He didn't play again until December. He come on as a sub against Newcastle for 15 minutes. Didn't see him again until April.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he started, there was all this talk of him, the following season, training on his own, trying to be fit. It's no good. It's no good. He scored 1 goal against Newport. And then, he's leeching us with that Arsenal attitude, £100,000 a fucking week. And then he leaves and he just starts slagging the club off and goes on TalkSport and then has the nerve to advise Jesse Lingard not to join us. What a wanker.
That's the thing, though. You get people. Who was it? Was Tarico who we signed? He got injured in his first game.
I thought he was going to say then Trent Derby. I don't know why.
But then he tore up his contract.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get a player doing that sort of thing, and then, like you said, someone like him who's then nicked a living, then turned around and said, "Oh, I was fit. It was the club. It was the manager, and all this." And then, like Dom says, goes off and slags us off. And he come out and turned around and said,
Do you know what really pissed me off about him as well? Well, it weren't actually him. Well, it was part of him. But it pissed me off because all these people would always say he walks into any midfield in the league, he's comfortably, West Ham's best midfielder when fit. Pele was the best player in the world 50 years ago. That don't mean shit. He lived off that game against Barcelona, which he was outstanding, in a tie that Arsenal lost overall. So it was ultimately hollow. And he scored 2 goals for England, 2 very good goals for England in a dead rubber qualifier 7 years ago. And people trying to say he's England's best midfielder. He was shit. He never done it. He never done it. Lost his ability a long time ago. And I'm surprised he's only 30 because it feels like it's been around years.
It's because he's got biscuit ankles.
They're held
Yeah,
together
yeah.
by screws.
Yeah, he is
Genuinely,
literally
they're held together by screws. If you're trying to play at the very top level, but your ankles are being held by screws, you shouldn't be playing at all.
I don't know who does that. I don't know
That's
who some of these teams' medical team are. Fucking Mr. Magoo, it looks like, because I don't know how he's got through all these fucking medicals.
Yeah.
To be
Happens, though,
honest.
mate. Happens. And then medical's like an MOT. It's just saying on that day that you're fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you got to look at it, you know.
If a club want a player, they're passing medical. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Well,
mate.
I've known players to fail medicals and still sign.
I mean, we signed Denver Bar and he had a metal leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
He failed
True,
a medical at Stoke before he signed for us, Denver Bar.
Well, Lundberg passed a medical of a broken rib for our football club.
He had a broken hip.
But yeah, I mean, as for Jack Wilshere, you know, I was a big fan of Jack Wilshere when he first broke onto the scene. It's just a shame the way his career's ended up. You know, he'll remember it as he played for Arsenal, club that he loved. He played for West Ham, his boyhood club. He won the FA Cup. He played for England, and he's earned a lot of money. So, and he'll go on now to probably have a career in the media, most probably do some work for Arsenal. So yeah,
Right. Do you remember when we see him at Arsenal away?
Yeah,
he done this. He was working as an ambassador, I think, for Arsenal, and he was walking around signing all of these autographs for Arsenal fans, mate. I've never seen someone shift so fast when they walk past the West Ham fans in all my fucking life, mate. He fucking darted, didn't he, right?
yeah.
Friend
But
of mine's got a picture with him. He loves him.
it still took time to have pictures with like the kids and that and fans that wanted it. You know, it's like Andy Carroll. You know, I think Andy Carroll on his day, you know, was a brilliant player, but he just never stayed fit, and he seemed to be interested in more than what was going on off the pitch than on it. Because when he was on the pitch and had his mind on it, you know, he was a game changer sometimes for us. But it's just a shame, you know. You always get players like this. But going back to that Newcastle game, one thing I remember was he did actually set up Felipe Anderson in that game. So that was a fucking moment for Jack Wilshere, setting up Anderson and scoring against Newport. Come on, you iron.
What a career. What a legend.
That's what he'll be remembered for.
When's
That daisy cutter against Northampton.
Northampton?
I think he got the same amount of goals. He got the same amount of goals as Zabaleta did for us, didn't he?
Yeah, I
I
think
think
you're
To be
right.
fair, he got more goals than Zaza.
Dom, I think I've scored more goals than fucking Zaza in the West Ham.
Did Zaza never score?
Nah.
Did he?
No, he didn't.
Remember when he had that shot and it went off for a fucking throw on? I'll tell you what, though, bang on about Zaza. I remember he had a brilliant game against Palace away. And I thought to myself,
He was into midfield. I come out, I was like, do you know what? He make a decent centre mid.
yeah, I thought to myself, do you know what? He might kick on now, and he fucking didn't even kick another ball, I don't think.
We've had some fucking stinkers, haven't we? Let's be fair. Do you remember fucking Shamak?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah, but he scored against us when he played for Palace.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Scored the winner, the bastard.
I'm not being funny on that one, but that's got to go down as the worst haircut in fucking Premier League history. That cunt had, mate. It was like sprayed on, brushed over, fucking. When you talk about players hanging onto their hair, mate, that was a joke.
We've all been there.
Who else have we had?
You ain't.
Look at Tom, he's fading into the wall.
It's annoying me because he's just becoming like the games master in there.
The thing is,
Dom looks like he's in prison. Oi, Dom, wake DT up and tell him Arsenal won.
that's the thing.
That way, he might have another player by the side of him, fucking waking him up.
We've
had too many fouled strikers. That's the problem for me.
Scott, what's
the last striker that you can honestly say has worked?
Arnautovic.
Yeah,
It wasn't a striker. It wasn't signed as a striker.
The last one that actually worked. Carroll when he was fit, and Sacco.
Denver Bar. We're genuinely cursed with strikers, right? There's a curse. We sign good strikers on paper, and they don't do it. Hernandez and Haller, right? We end up signing wingers that make better strikers. Antonio Arnautovic. We sign good strikers who do well for us, Barr and Ashton. We get relegated, so Barr leaves and Ashton gets a career-ending injury. And we sign Sacco, who lives off that 6 in 6, and then has a terrible, terrible attitude. Like it's just a curse with strikers, man.
Yeah, I think with Chicharito and Hilaire, they just come to the club at the wrong time.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
And you get players like that just don't work.
Yeah, but it's like, right, so Chicharito, if he come the last season of Bolin, it works. Do you get what I mean? Because of the way we were playing. When we brought him in because we needed a fox in a box and a poacher, and then we play him up front by himself. You know, with Hilaire, we bring Hilaire in and then switch to a team that want a manager that wants the players to work hard off the ball. You know, that's the problem. You with certain strikers, a striker should be your focal point. And when you've got a striker like, you know, with Hilaire going to Ajax, he become their focal point. He becomes the spearhead of their side. Sorry, mate.
He's gone Dortmund now.
Is he?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the thing. It's you've got to look at what wins you games and strikers' goals. So you've got to play to your striker strengths. Whereas Moyes looks at it a bit more Allardyce-esque, that clean sheets wins you games. So you want a team that works hard, a team that defends well. So a player like Hilaire or a Chicharito is never going to work in that side because you don't get it up the right way.
If we'd have had a Ronaldo this year, like someone that scored that amount of goals, like United have been shit. They've been absolutely atrocious. But he's won them games on his own. He's won them games, Ronaldo. Like I think he scored something like 18 goals or something like that.
20
and,
was in the end.
Was it 20? Yeah, 20 goals from.
They said the other day that if you took away his goals, they would have finished like 5th or 6th from bottom.
Yeah. It's like 20 goals. Imagine if we'd have had someone like him this year.
Yeah, he'd have been playing on the wing or right back.
Yeah.
But
if you'd have had someone like him,
what you're saying. Imagine we had Ronaldo. Yeah, big imagination.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm not talking about Ronaldo himself, but someone who got 20 goals out of nothing. You know, like someone that can pull that shit out. Like, you know, like fucking. Let's go back some years, like Marcus Stewart done for fucking Ipswich that year. You know what I mean? 30 goals.
Mishu.
Sorry.
Remember Mishu for Swansea?
Yeah, someone like that. We'd have had a fucking suit. We'd have finished probably third, maybe second.
Sort of a one-season wonder who just hit it right at the right season at the right time.
Yeah. But we just don't seem to fucking buy it.
It's not that. We just don't get the luck, do we?
I think we ain't had a 20-goal season striker in the Premier League since John Hartson. Sheringham got 20 in the Championship or a couple more, but you're talking about 97, 98. Since we've had and Harry Kane bangs in 20 a season, you know what I mean? Our top Premier League goal scorer is Antonio on what is it, 54, 55? That's embarrassing.
Yeah. And that's it. And especially when you look at the amount of strikers that we have had in that period that we've been in the Premier League.
We just seem to. I don't think we're cursed. I just don't think we know what to scout.
The recruitment's wrong at wrong times. That's what it boils down to. You know, but this is now, as we said.
Sorry, Scott. The thing is, any half decent striker that fits the way we play is going to cost money.
Yeah,
and they don't want to play money.
Will fit the way we play.
Who? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so do I. Because like, I know he was. I think with Southampton, like, he only got 6 league goals, but Southampton have got a few strikers. They got Adams. They got Armstrong.
They had Long, didn't they?
Yeah, but like I watched. I remember watching a couple of Southampton highlights on Match of the Day, and Bro just used to always seem to score. And it's like his movement in the box, like it's that natural finisher, like right place, right time, knows where the goal is. And the way we play, especially last season, we would always get balls into the box. but Antonio wouldn't make those striker runs and he wouldn't make those striker finishes.
Well, look how many times Bowen got it out, got it onto his left foot, hit it, and the keeper saves it, and it drops, and there's no one in there to tap it in.
Exactly.
A Brozier would be there. A bit like he reminds me a bit like Hernandez. Just stays in that 6-yard box, ready to tap it in. So it'd be a great signing. And I see
that's an art. Doing that is an art.
Yeah, listen,
there's an art to it.
That's just natural. That's what natural goal scorers do.
But that's what Kevin Nolan used to do. You know, he used to sort of think, right, well, if the cross is coming in, the ball, if the keeper flaps at this, the ball's going to go there, and he put himself in that position. You know, and I think that with Bowen saying that Nolan helped his game a little bit with the finishing and that type of thing, then maybe that's what he's trying to install in him. But it's like when me and Graham said about Pukki. You know, when people turn their nose up, you look at the movement that Pukki had for Norwich. You know, and Norwich just didn't have that quality to find the runs that he made. Some of the runs he made are so good, but he never got picked out the ball. You go back and watch the game against us at the London Stadium and just watch his movement and the movement that he tries to make in the box, the way he drags defenders left and right, and they don't feed in the ball. And it was you see the frustration in his face that he weren't receiving the ball because he knows he can score. And, you know, he'd be someone that we should be looking at because he could sit on the bench and come on and make a difference.
You know why people turn their nose up at him, though? Because, like, he ain't got no pace and he's, like, 33. But I'd take Pukki because I just think I'd take any natural striker.
Yeah.
Because I just think the way we play, we create so many chances. If you know where the goal is, it's meat and drink. Do you know what I mean?
That's it, mate. And that's the thing. And you're chasing a game. You need a goal, and you're piling on the pressure. You want a player that knows where that ball's going to drop, that knows what movement to make that run. And then he opens, because he knows the movement to make. He opens up the game for other players.
Yeah,
you look at Giroud.
Sorry, mate. Go on.
Yeah, you look at Giroud when he was at Chelsea. Yeah, a lot of goals came for them with the movement he made off the ball to allow other players to get into positions to score. You know, that's what we don't have with Antonio, because he's not that natural goal scorer. He doesn't have that natural ability to look to drag the centre half to the left or to the right to open the game up for other players. You know, he's so used to just coming in off the wing and making that solitary run. And that's where we fall flat sometimes, because we haven't had that.
Yeah, but that's why. Sorry, mate, go on.
No, I was just about to say, see, for me, I wouldn't take Pukki because of his age. I don't think we're in that club anymore that wants to sign over a certain age. I still think the club will look at going for Diaz as well from Blackburn. I think he fits what David Moyes wants to do, and he's another talent from the Championship. But if we can get him and Brozier in, then that'll be, well, it ain't going to happen because it's two strikers and we don't do that at West Ham. But I still think that might be a player that we might be looking at.
Yeah, he's someone I'd take, mate. I think he's another one of those that look like he could work well in a Moyes side. You know, it's yeah. As I said, I'd still take Pukki even at his age. I know what you're saying. We're not that retirement home anymore, but I still feel that he has something to bring.
I think there's a couple of things. Like, I think we're a good team, but we're missing a few things. That's a natural goal scorer, someone a poacher. I think someone to change it up, like a big man striker, like when things ain't going right and you want to just lump it in the box and want someone to be there, is someone like a big, a big guy, and pace. We lack so much pace. Pace is.
That's why I'm saying we need two strikers. We need more variety. It's simple.
Yeah, and it is that it's the nail on the head. It's the variety. It's the difference of game styles, the difference of movement, the reading of the game that different players bring you. That's what we need. And look, there's still other players out there. You've got the two guys from Watford, didn't you?
Yeah, that's gone quiet. That was like before the end of the season. It was like, we're close to agreeing a deal with him. So everything, always strikers, it just goes fucking cold.
I was reading today that ain't he got the same agent as Downes?
Who?
That the player from Watford, the striker, is it Dennis? I think they've got the same agent as well. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. It has gone a bit quiet, but do you know what? I actually like it when it goes quiet. because I love the way West Ham have done this deal this week. 24 hours done.
We don't do
He was
it.
already.
Fair
He was.
one.
He was basically 90% a Crystal Palace player until West Ham threw their name in. As soon as West Ham come in, there was no other option, no other choice for him.
From what I understand, Palace were getting all ready to start doing all the promo video to release him.
They had shirts with his name on the back.
Yeah.
When he said no to Palace, they went, please don't leave us.
And he went, sorry.
Sorry, I'm gonna go West Ham.
Yeah, no, look, if we go into the season, if we start the season with Rice, Souček, Downes, and Connor Coventry as our centre mids, I'd be quite happy with that, but we still need one more in now. And I know we've been linked with what's his name from Leicester? Is it Tillemans?
No shot.
We ain't going to get him, but if we was to get someone like him, pay the money and get him in, then yeah, I'd be happy with that.
I'd be happy.
We can't afford to let Souček go. I don't care what anyone says.
I know.
Has to stay.
I would be happy with Coventry and Downes as the backup centre mids. I think 4 centre mids. I think that'll do me. I didn't think about Coventry. I said we need one more central midfielder, but you got in there. He's obviously been knocking on the door for a few years now. He's obviously got.
And you've also got to remember, Dom, is that Lanzini can play in there as well if he needs to, and he does quite a good job in there, Lanzini, when he's been asked.
See, that's the thing, isn't it? It's a case of you can get away with that with Lanzini being your third centre mid. But even for me, I don't think we've got to be looking to replace Lanzini.
I reckon Fornals could do a job in centre mid.
Yeah, he's played there before. He can do a job there.
The thing is as well is it's what system we set up with. If you look at we sort of set up if Moyes wanted to play a 2 up top. I know he doesn't do that, but have like that back 5. You could work with a midfield 3 of having someone like Downes, Rice, and Fornals, because then you've got 3. You've got your box to box. You've got Downes who can sit and hold. You've got your box to box with Rice, and then you've got your Fornals to float in around that number 10 position. So it's sort of that playing that free role. So it gives you more options there with it. Same as Lanzini. Lanzini can drop into that sort of free role position into the midfield.
I like having players in your squad that can adapt being put into positions that they're not used to playing in. That's what it's all about. If it comes to it and you had to put Antonio on the wing, he'll play there. He'll do you a good job. Ben Johnson, if he has to go in at left back, he can play there. If he has to go right back or centre back, he can play there. So it's good to have players that can adapt.
Sorry, Tom's in the chat. He's just left a comment.
Life of Ben Bread. What's that say? Bread Hermit. Hermit.
He's bread.
My eyes are going, mate. I got to fucking get off of here in a minute. How have we changed? For years, we were known for attacking football with a lot of our managers having 3 or 4 strikers. Now we spend the transfer window open for just one decent striker.
Yeah,
times changed, mate. I think times.
I mean, what we've done so far in the transfer window is more than what I thought we'd do at this stage. If I'm honest, 3 decent signings in. Obviously, Areola was on loan last season, but it's good to get him in. He's going to be our number 1. Fabianski's just signed a new extension as well. So we've got 2 good goalkeepers at the club now that are going to fight for that number 1. And yeah, I mean, Aguard, however you say it, looks decent. But as I said, I've not really seen him play. So I can't get too excited about it until I've seen him play. And obviously, he'll probably join up with the squad next week in pre-season. So we might see him together with I'm sure Zuma will be back, and you'll get more of the first team regulars back next week. I mean, I didn't watch the game earlier. I'll watch the highlights after, but I don't know how we played, but we won. So it's just pre-season is not about winning or losing. It's about fitness and getting up to pace. So, but it's always good to win.
Tom, I can't wait to see you again either, but I'm still not giving you any petrol money for when you drive to Reading. Sorry. You really got me going now.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It's like we said at the start of the show. Say again?
He sounded like Mr. fucking T when he said that.
Yeah. There was this geezer in Leon. We was a quick story. When we were on the way back after the game, we had to get a bus back to the city centre, and there was this geezer who just started singing Twist and Shout. And he just he leant his head back and just belted out like, "You really got me going now." Oh, fucking brilliant! Just funny, private joke had to be there.
Thanks for that, Dom. Yeah,
well, you did ours.
Brilliant story. That
our stories are brilliant.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Ask us anything because I'm going to fall asleep.
Can I ask you a question, Nick?
Yeah, yes, you can, Dom. Go on.
What was you pulling a face at when you muted the mic? Did you have something bad to drink or eat?
Yeah, Clay brought in a drink, but we've got I bought some cans of Coca-Cola in yesterday, and like I put some in the freezer, but I left some outside.
Is it warm?
It's been fucking hot today, and she's brought in one of the cans from outside, and it was fucking warm.
It's been so hot today, man.
Yeah, it was
melting. How was work?
My office is air conditioned, so you don't really feel it until you go out. And I went outside at lunchtime, and it was like, when you walk out of an airport on holiday.
Yeah,
I was like, woo!
Yeah, I got that when I walked out. When I come out of work as well, I felt exactly the same.
It's meant to be even hotter next week, so.
Reading next week is going to be 41 degrees.
Yeah,
crazy, make sure you put talcum powder on your ball.
Crazy. Do you know what? Right, I done a death job yesterday. First one I've done for a while, right? And I'm so glad it was yesterday and not today. That would have been a killer in there today because it smelt bad enough yesterday, but today, if in there with this heat, mate, wouldn't have been nice.
Hold on a minute. Oh, what the West Ham main team, but can West Ham Fan TV give their support to Telford United on Tuesday when we play our local rival Shrewsbury Town? Up the butts, come on.
Come on, Telford.
No,
I didn't like Shrewsbury.
Come on the books. Come on, Telford.
I didn't like Shrewsbury away, so yeah, come on, Telford.
Yeah, Shrewsbury. That was so cold that day, man. And I couldn't see a fucking thing because the sun was in my face like the whole 90 minutes.
Listen, that shape of that stadium still burnt in the retinas, man.
And the fucking toilets were like prison toilets.
Do you know what I was telling you that story the other day, Dom, about the lady that hit me with a stick? That was then. That was the game.
Yeah.
Is that the one that said get your fan cams right or something?
Yeah, get your videos in order.
I see her all the time now.
Yeah, so do I. She whacked me with a walking stick.
I always whenever I see her walking towards me, I turn the other way just in case she whacks me or something.
Tom, if you're still in the comments, mate, it's the same woman you sat next to on the train home from Burnley.
Yeah.
Tom will know.
There's a funny one. What's your dream car?
I don't know. Dream car. Like a Mustang or something. The Shelby.
Yeah, Aston Martin DB9 or a Mustang, Shelby Mustang. The one out of Bullet. To be fair, even the new Bullet Mustang's nice. One of them three.
When we was coming home from the studio on the other week, we was on the way there and we drove past a car shop and Nicky was like, "Yeah, I'm getting my new car from there," and I didn't really realise it was a Ferrari shop. I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, it's a Ferrari shop."
I wouldn't be able to fit.
You get that? Steal it.
I wouldn't be able to fit in a Ferrari. No chance.
Do you remember when we went Brighton away when Tony drove us and she had like the smallest car and like you was in the back and like you needed loads of leg room and I was like at the front and up like the journey down there I was in the front. I'm like my body was like facing like this. I was like pretty much up against the windscreen.
Yeah.
And then, like we all struggled to get out the car. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. My dream car. I want a bit of comfort. I've never had a big car, and I'm a Range Rover. I reckon I'd like to have probably a Range Rover, something like that. But if I couldn't get a Range Rover, crying, it'd be I know this sounds weird, but a Volvo XC90, mate, they are lovely.
They're nice. They are.
They
had them as the they were like the taxi cars on our resort.
Yeah,
Crete,
they were.
man.
They are fucking nice cars, man.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Rabona Red Lads, who's your favourite non-West Ham player in the Premiership at the moment?
Favourite? I like watching Kevin De Bruyne. That's what I really like watching. There's a couple of players I really like, but he's up there. I think he's one of the best in the world, to be honest with you. But I know this sounds stupid because he's a fucking cheater, but I like watching Son. I think Son. I've liked Son for years, mate. But he's a cheating bastard. But he's so fucking good.
I like Foden.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Thiago that plays for Liverpool. Big fan. He's really good player. But yeah, I mean, De Bruyne is just on another level. Mahrez last season was brilliant to watch as well. City are going to be a force next season, I'm telling you. You can see that they're growing. They're letting players like Sterling go. I was surprised that they will let Sterling go, but you know that's how strong
they set though. Like you look at the contributions Sterling and Jesus have made. Sterling's won 12 trophies at City, I think. Jesus has won probably about the same, and they've obviously contributed greatly to that. And yet they're still comfortable letting them go. Not only letting them go to like 2 Big Six rivals. So like that's the standard they're setting.
Yeah, I know. It's and I mean they've gone out and they've bought Davis from Leeds. I mean, what they pay for him? Not Davis, Phillips. Sorry,
Phillips. 42 mil.
Yeah, and you know he's obviously not going to be a starter for them, but he's a good player.
He might, you know.
Yeah, he might.
They rotate their central midfielders to the wing as well.
It's like Guardiola's trying to build a second team now at City. He's obviously got Grealish, who I think Grealish will be a lot better this season than he was last. And he was still decent last season, but yeah, he's good to watch.
Was Phillips out of contract next season? At the end of next season? Because
I think he had a year left.
Yeah, that explains it. English tax and all that.
I don't think he's a complete player, but I think he will become a complete player now. But he's quite old. He's not young. He's like 27. So
he really should be at the peak of his career now. The next 3 or 4 years, he should be at the top of his game.
I'll be honest. I think I said it before. It's a strange move for him. Strange move. Don't get it. But
I don't think any player would turn down the chance to play for.
Oh no, of course not. City, would they? I just don't see him. I don't think he's good enough personally.
I'm with you on that, Scott. He's a good player. I don't think he's quite that level, and I don't think he will reach that level.
He's very wasteful at times as well.
He's not. If you're looking, City have signed him because he's English and he adds to that homegrown quota.
I thought you were talking about Jesus. Sorry.
Yeah, so I don't get that. To be fair, I don't get that signing for Arsenal either because he's not the number 9 they're looking for.
Well, he scored 2 goals tonight.
Did he?
He doesn't want to play as a number 9. Do you know what I mean? He wants to come in off the left. He wants to play that sort of like Lacazette does sometimes.
How do you know?
Come off the left because that's what he come out and said to the Brazil coach.
Do you speak Portuguese, then, Scott?
No.
Someone
said he come out and said to the Brazil coach when the Brazil coach asked him, and that's why he don't play that much for Brazil.
Yeah, it'll be interesting next season.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a good player.
I'm sorry.
Just that number 9. Just don't fit that number 9.
Freddie Davis says, what teams do you think will underachieve and overachieve this season?
I think Chelsea will underachieve. I think Spurs might overachieve. I think Spurs will have a good season.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do as well.
Listen, we all know how the Spurs story goes. They're still going to win fuck all next season, so fuck them.
The funny thing is,
I think them days of failure are numbered. I wouldn't surprise me.
Do you know what? Fair play to them. They've made some really good signings. So they've made another one today, didn't they?
They've got that Paul, and then Conte's got that Paul as well.
Yeah, but Conte won't be there by this time next season. He won't be there this time next season. I'll be surprised if he sees out the season next year.
It depends. It depends on what happens. Sometimes it's. See, I think they could have a really good season, but when you see how many they're shifting out and then pulling in, sometimes you have to It's not just the fact of upgrading a player for player. Like when too many players come in, sometimes it upsets the apple cart, and it's difficult to when you've got so many people and so many different cultures as well. I mean, they're looking at that Lingard from Barcelona at the minute.
They got him.
Oh, they signed him. Yeah, there we go.
Loan.
Got him on loan. You got the winger. What's his name? Richarlison. You got they've got about 6 or 7 players, and when you're trying to embed all them into a squad, it can be difficult.
They done the cut of good business in January though as well, didn't they? The players that they
yeah
done well. Look, they're going to be there and thereabouts, aren't they? I still don't think they'll win anything, if I'm honest.
They'll be battling out for top 4 without a doubt.
100%.
Go on, sorry.
No, for them, for me, this is where we missed the trick. In not achieving higher in the league, finishing and not pushing on or try and win that Europa League a bit better by making the signings in January. Is that we've let teams that were sort of behind us now catch back up and move beyond where we could be. Yeah, I think
Manchester United are going to have an awful season.
I don't think they'll ever grow the season as what they're expected. I think they'll be the ones that underachieve, and overachieve, I think, will be one of the ones that come up. I'm going to say Bournemouth.
I am. All I'm hoping is that West Ham overachieve.
The funny thing is, we could beat both of them. Do you know what I mean?
So we'll put Tom up because he's been in opinions on the new kit. So I don't know if you've discussed it yet, but I went into the club shop yesterday and I see it and it's fucking awful. I thought I'd give it a chance. It's all right. You know what it looks like? It looks like Umbro's given someone a plain black shirt and said, go crazy on it. They've painted first part of the sleeves and thought, fuck it, I can't be bothered no more. Do you know what? I was even looking at that shirt yesterday and thinking to myself, even if they would have done the Umbro and the badge in pink or one of the other colours to match it, it might have looked a little bit better. But it just don't make any sense. You've got a plain white badge, plain white Umbro, Betway's white, the shirt's black, and then you've got some sort of graffiti on the sleeves. I just don't get it.
Look at that picture. Look at that picture you sent. It's not even flat, is it? The shirt itself. Because the way that picture you sent over yesterday, it looks like it's not patterned, but there's like
patterns.
No, it's not just plain. Like this top's just plain. It looked rough, if you know what I mean.
What the
patterns? Why don't you just say what you want to say?
No, I can't try and think of it. But
I'm right with you with a stick.
Hang on, let me try and get it up to show you what I mean. But go on.
Embossed.
I know what you mean. But the thing is, like, the more I'm seeing the home shirt, every time I see the home shirt, I'm liking it a lot more. I actually think it looks really smart.
Now you're 10%.
I don't like either. I like the home goalie kit, but the away goalie kit is fucking atrocious.
I mean,
that's weird, man. It's got like little it's like when you're decorating a cake, you just like throw a bit of like sprinkles on it, like barely cover it, and then you just got the rest that's just like plain.
It's just like, and it's like apparently the third kit's going to be white and orange, which is totally like against what West Ham usually do. So, but a third kit's meant to be different and crazy. That away shirt is shit. Honestly, I think it's one of the worst away kits I've ever seen. There's just no thought, or it's like they just thought fuck it. That'll do.
It's a bit. It's just. I think we're living in that era now. These sort of patterns and stuff that they've put on these kits, they're coming back in. You see kids walking around the fucking shopping centre looking like Zach Morris. You know what I mean?
So, Nick,
sorry, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what sort of patterns?
Well, like the I don't even know what to call it.
It's like that. It's like that crazy artwork, isn't it? Where you go in and flick some paint all over a piece of paper and go, "Oh, look, it's art."
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think some of the younger kids are going to love it.
The thing is with new kits is that there's probably people that love this season's home shirt but didn't like last season's, and vice versa. You're always going to split opinions on the new kits. I mean, some people love them, some people don't. But listen, if we end up winning a trophy in it, then fuck it. I don't care what we wear.
Turn that brick wall off, for fuck's sake. You're disappearing now, mate.
I'm trying to find I think my lamp's on.
Just turn it off. Just turn the fucking brick wall off. It's annoying me.
I see Bayern Munich's away kit, and they've got like, do you remember Swansea shirt when it was like white with gold?
Yeah.
The white with gold kit.
It looks quite good, their kit.
And the thing is, it's like the black shirt. It's like we've had a black shirt like 2 seasons ago with just gold. And see what I'm saying? The different, like having a different colour badge and sponsor on it stood out and made it look better. So if maybe they would have put, what colours are on the sleeves? It's like pink, light blue, and whatever. But if they would have done it pink, it might have looked a little bit better. But it's not for me.
It's meant to be claret, but it's a very, very light claret, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's it. I don't know where it will show up there, but it's like pink. So I'm trying to move that in. Look, see it?
Yeah.
Blue. That looks more pink than claret, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a very like pastel sort of claret, I suppose. Fuck knows.
Pink, blue, black, and white. That's what it looks like to me.
Could have been worse. They could have had that pattern on the shorts, like the whole. No, but I mean the whole shorts.
Imagine if the whole shorts was that pattern.
Fuck that.
And the socks.
Oh,
Jesus fucking Christ. Somebody said that the goalkeeper kit, the whole goalkeeper kit, looked like a dressing gown.
It's not great. It's not great.
It is what it is, mate. At the end of the day, they're kits. They don't mean fuck all. If you don't like them, don't buy them.
Lewis has asked if we can shout out to his mate Heath Davis. Sorry, it's his birthday, and he's a big fan.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Cheers for the.
How do you know it's his birthday?
The reason I know it's his birthday is because before he did that, I was going to put up the comment that he sent. It's his mate's birthday.
Oh, I was going to say, fucking hell.
It disappeared off my thing, and then the super chat popped up. So
super chat,
sorry.
Yeah, it does look like Timmy Mallet. That kit does. That pattern does look like a bit like what Timmy Mallet would wear. I was saying the other day, right? I got this photo indoors. Ryan might have seen it, but around my mum's house somewhere, I'm going to try and get her to. I'm going around there Sunday. I'm going to try and get her to get out. Right? I went to a wedding in the early 90s. Must have been about 92, 93. And obviously, I was still young. I was about 10. And you got to see this shirt that I was wearing, man. Yeah, here you go. You got to see this shirt I was wearing, man. It's the most 90s shirt I've ever seen. I swear down. I'm going to dig this photo out. Honestly, you're not going to believe it.
Do you remember when, I think Norwich City had a terrible kit like that, in '93?
Yeah. I remember that well.
Yeah.
They brought it back out.
Kits are kits, though, man. This time next year they'll be gone, and we'll be.
Sometimes when kits are so bad, they become notorious, and they become collectible because they're that bad. I bet you any money now, if you was to see a Chelsea fan, I bet you'd see quite a few of them that would buy that grey and orange one. Remember that grey and orange one they had?
My mate in work, he's I don't work there no more. I still speak to him though. He's a massive Chelsea fan. He loves that shirt. It's his favourite Chelsea shirt.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. No cunt bought it at the time. I never see one out in the street. But I bet they'd all buy it now because it becomes so bad they're good. If that makes sense.
Just about to pick this one up.
Yeah, Dean Anderson. If you won the 191 million tonight, what would you spend it on? Have you put it on? Have you played it?
No, I don't.
I have.
I would buy a house. I would buy properties abroad, and I would probably try and buy some a share in West Ham.
You're not going to get far with that.
I'd buy us a fucking striker because even if I put 50 million on a striker, I'd still have a good bit of money there.
No, do you know what I would say though? Honestly, God's honest truth. If I won that much money, I'd say I'll at least go half and half with you.
How much would you give me?
How much am I winning?
191 mil.
I'll probably give you about £722.14.
Fuck you.
See that's just too much money now. That's too much money. But to win it, I think you obviously you buy your house. Nice.
Do you know what I'd do? I'd pay for every single one of our flights to the Conference League because I'm so kind.
What,
Dom,
all of the fans?
Flights when you can buy your own plane.
Not all
You
the
can buy your own plane.
I'll pay for my circle.
You can buy your own plane.
Yeah, chart your own plane.
Yeah. All I need was a pilot.
You know, you could call it Sorry Airways.
Beans Airlines.
Yeah.
Joe, what? You do the normal things, when you app, new houses, new car, like Dom said, properties abroad, going to holidays. But I buy a football club. I buy a La League football club.
Yeah, that's a shout.
The last thing I'd get involved in is.
Oh, I like the lower leagues, man. I'd do the same.
Well, you fuck off to the lower leagues then.
But it's something you get. Sometimes you see
Thames Ironworks.
Sorry?
You make Thames Ironworks. Why are you telling me to fuck off to the lower leagues?
No, you can fuck off there. I don't care. I'm not buying no lower league club, man. That's more hassle than it's worth.
Nah, it's not. It's not.
I'll tell you
Got
what,
the money, ain't.
If I did win that money, I'd do a lot of travelling.
Oh, mate, definitely. You'd have to.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing as well. I won't fucking tell anyone I've won it. I won't be one of these prats that stand there with a big check and champagne spraying it. Fuck that.
I'm with you.
Damn, 191 mil would even get around it.
That's the thing. It's like you win that sort of money and you advertise it, you get so many begging letters.
And half of that's from your own family.
Nick, if you won the lottery in answer to Tom's question and you bought a private jet, would you still fly directly?
No, I'd do.
Would you do
You'd buy a Wizz Air.
Wizz Air, yeah, buy Wizz Air just to track that fucking woman.
I'd buy oh god, when we come home from Frankfurt, we flew to fucking Poland. I still don't know why. I didn't realise we were going there until after I put the fly. I was like, that's why it was so bloody cheap.
That's an interesting one. First Premier League manager to be sacked this upcoming season.
Ten Hag.
Eddie
Ten
Howe.
Hag will be sacked.
Eddie Howe.
I'll tell you, I think possibly Gerrard if it don't start well for Villa. Lampard. Rodgers. I think Rodgers is on thin ice at Leicester.
See, I said Rodgers a couple of years ago, and it completely backfired on me. But I'm with you.
You get about 1 or 2 good years out of Rodgers, and then it just goes to shit. Like they were awful last season.
Yeah,
set piece is terrible, and they don't learn from it, and that's a problem.
Chris has just said. I was going to say Steve Cooper at Forest, especially if they start bad. You know, they'll want to sack him and bring someone in with Premier League experience.
But I think it's what they're looking to achieve this season. You know, you look at sides before that have fleeted between the Premier League and the Championship and stuck with the manager. It's worked out well for them, but you know,
then again, mate, we start off bad. David Moyes will be on the, people calling for his head. So,
I think if we go into the season without a striker and we start off bad, or we start off with less players than we had last season and we start doing bad, I think he could well be up for it because, I'll be honest with you, mate. Going into this season in a worse position than we was last season, after all we've been through in the last couple of transfer windows, it's unacceptable. It's not good enough.
I'm gonna call this now that I think Eddie Howe will be sacked within the first 10 games and Pochettino will be Newcastle manager.
Yeah, I said that. I said that.
Yeah, it's a good chat. Now he's available because someone's gonna want to get him in before he goes somewhere else.
Mrs. Iyer says, "Why aren't you reading my comments? I met Billy Bonds today. Nicky, you sit in his stand, mate."
Where was Billy Bonds?
That was the first comment.
I love Billy Bonds.
I think she saw him in a supermarket. I could be wrong. But I think Moyes could be if he doesn't get it right, will be sort of what's the other way to put it? Sort of undone by his own success. But I was saying, I was having this conversation with Graham the other week that I feel that Moyes deserves, if we do have a bad season, we should stick with him.
It depends, Scott, doesn't it? Like, I mean, if we get to like Christmas and we're around that bottom three, you know what's going to happen. But I'm with you. I'd give him a bit of time. It just depends how bad we are doing.
Because when he was you look at his record at Everton, he always seemed to have one little poor season with him, didn't he? Where they finished sort of mid-table.
Sorry.
Why do we mug you off, Miss Irons?
No,
I read your comment and you said you met Billy Bonds. I just asked where. I didn't see where you met him, so I'd love to meet Billy Bonds in a supermarket if you did.
I'm sure I see the comment earlier. It ain't definitely a supermarket.
I've been lucky enough to meet Billy Bonds before. He's an absolute legend. So if that's the first time you've ever met him, then yeah.
Where's the weirdest player you've met a footballer? Weirdest place you've met a footballer? Sorry, Sainsbury's.
In the toilet.
What toilet? Who and where?
That just sounds so dodgy in the toilet.
No, it was. It was in the toilet. Someone was having a piss next to me. Was it?
Harry Kane.
No, it was.
Yeah, I've had a piss next to Jermaine Denis before.
I remember meeting.
You see Lingard at the Coca-Cola do.
Yeah, but you probably expect a player to be there. I've met Robert Snodgrass in a Burger King at Knutsford Services, but the weirdest one, right? This was a good few years ago because when I was in school, I used to they put me on like this Goals for Life course, and it was run by Southend United, my boyhood club, right? And we were like tasked to set up a presentation to convince the council to fund a minibus that would travel for disabled fans to and from games. So we did the presentation and we were successful. For our reward, the club gave us, they gave us like hospitality tickets for a game. So obviously we're in a box. I remember leaning out the window and I looked to my right. Guess who I saw watching the game? It was so random. Andre Arshavin. Remember the ex-Arsenal player? Back then he was really good.
I can't think of it now. What's that hotel near you, Scott? The
Marriott.
The Marriott. I remember being in there for a meeting at work once, and I come out of the meeting. I went to the bar to get a drink, and all the West Brom team was sitting there. It was when Di Matteo was manager. They was playing Leyton Orient in the League Cup, and Scott Carson was there. And yeah, but
right. If you don't say Steve Lomas in O'Neill's, I'm going to punch you.
Steve Lomas in O'Neill's was a random one, but Thingy was another one. Ludo McCloskey. When I was a youngster, I was at Southend. And I see Ludo McCloskey, and he had a big ice cream. And he was West Ham. He was the first team goalkeeper then. So I was only young. But Steve Lomas in O'Neill's. We played Leicester away. It was first game of the season in the Championship. It was the second season after when we didn't win the playoffs. And we played Leicester away first game, and we drew 0-0. And it was baking hot that day. And I remember coming back, and me and my mate went up to O'Neill's in Leytonstone, and my mate was playing a fruit machine, and I looked out the window and I see this car pull up, and I looked out and I said to my mate, I went, "That's Steve Lomas there," and he wasn't in the squad that day because he was injured, and he was going, nah, ain't, and all of a sudden he come in, he just come walking towards us, and I went, Lomas, and he just looked at me and he went, yeah, and I went, "Where are you today?" And he was like, I ain't going to do his accent, but he's like Northern Irish accent.
Where I was injured, so I was.
He was injured. But then I went to him I said, "Oh, Bobby Zamora's day." He went, he's shit. He said Bobby Zamora is shit. I said, fucking hell, it's only like...
I've met Steve Lomas at the Player Awards one year. He was a guest. He bought me a drink, and he was just like, I was just like chatting with him at the bar, and he was like really genuine, just asked like what I did, like where I was from, how long I've been supporting West Ham. He was asking me the questions. It was really cool. He's a nice guy, Steve Lomas.
I remember being out once in the most random person I've ever seen. Was not a football player, but I was at London in a restaurant with work, and there was a lot of people looking at this table. I looked over, and it was Woody Harrelson.
Wow.
Yeah, but you couldn't go anywhere near him. But I was just thinking to myself, fucking hell. And I love one of my favourite films. I love White Men Can't Jump. Love that film.
Good film that is. That's a good film. Do you know Canning Town, the BP station on Canning Town on the A13?
Yeah.
So many people I know have bumped into West Ham players there filling up their car.
I used to bump it. I remember I always used to see Gary Charles.
Yeah.
When he played for us.
I know a few people that. Do you remember that picture of Sue Fowl on the bus? Sue Fowl.
I remember I was picked Graham up and we were going. I finished work, was going home to get ready to come to a game, and we could just come off the M11. And as we're coming around into traffic, literally in the car next to us was Pyatt. You know, it's sort of like, well, you ain't playing today, are you?
When we played Man United away this season, me and Andy on our way home, we stopped off at the services, and as we come out, I see this bloke standing there in a football tracksuit. So I had a little look, and it was a Millwall player. And we were standing there talking to him. I don't know who he was, but he was, to be fair, he was a really nice bloke. They lost to, who did they play that day? Blackpool, I think it was. Is it Blackpool?
Probably, if they're coming back the same way.
Yeah, I think it was Blackpool, and they lost 2-0, I think it was. Because I'll tell you what, because I was talking to him, and he lived in Canary Wharf, because he was talking to us about David Moyes, saying that he lived, whoever the player was, he lived with the manager, Gary Rowett.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He lived with him in Canary Wharf because it must have been around the Midlands because he was waiting for his wife to come and pick him up because he said he's like from Birmingham way. So, yeah. And he said that Moisey lives in Canary Wharf, so they see him all the time.
I remember seeing the whole Barry Town team at a service station once. That was funny.
I met Kenny Brown in the services when he was at Dagenham and Redbridge. That's how I got his number and got him on the channel the first time.
I remember I met Julian Fobe near Scott's house when he first signed for us.
I see quite a few EastEnders characters around my way. You know, we just walk past them in the street.
I'm useless at recognising faces. Really, like I said, my missus, I walked past Andy Carroll, didn't even realise it was him. She spotted him.
Yeah, you probably thought it was Marty Pello.
yeah, I didn't even have a clue who he was. And she called him out. I walked past Danny Dyer, I walked past him.
What she called him out?
I recognised him.
Carroll, you cunt, come on.
When we beat Norwich at the end of the season, we were driving back, and Tom looked to the mirror and he was like, "Oh, look, Tim Krul's behind us." And like we waited for Tim Krul to like drive up next to us. He ran down the window, was like, 4-0, you're shit. And he like sped right off in the other direction.
He threw like a bunch of 50s out the window. Yeah.
Sorry.
Boys, I'm ready to wrap it up if you are.
What? Just before we go, what a random thing that was yesterday. Carlton Cole and Chris Jericho in the Carpenter's Arm.
That was weird, wasn't it?
That's the most random thing I've ever seen in my life. But I'm looking forward to it. I said it the other day on the podcast. I think Carlton Cole should do a lot more of them things next season, interviewing players and that, because he was really good at it. It seems like they're getting him in to do things like that. Yeah, no, he was really good when he interviewed the new defender. I thought he come across really well, and he adds a bit of humour to it as well. And hopefully he'll get a lot more next season doing that.
Yeah, I think he should. He's quite natural at that sort of thing, isn't he? It's funny, naturally funny.
He's a funny character, isn't he?
He is. I like him. I really like him.
He's dopey. And I mean that in a nice way.
Yeah.
No, I think he plays on it.
I don't know, mate. When we met him at that football thing, Scott, do you remember? Nikki's Aunt Sheena was fucking all over it. She was going, Cole. Yeah, I think he was scared of your aunt.
Yeah. I think that's it, boys.
Yeah.
Andy Carroll in the Army and Navy. I didn't meet him, but someone else did. He was in the Army and Navy pub.
That was my mate. That was when we played Liverpool away. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. He went in the Army and Navy pub on the packet, probably.
Sorry, I put the wrong one up. Hold on. Is that where Happy Hammer 82 saw him?
Might have been, yeah. Might have been.
I've heard that as well. I think it was in Nolan because like Nolan was suspended or something.
Yeah, I know. A mate of ours.
I have heard that. Yeah,
Army and Navy pub.
Lawless bumped into Kevin Noland in Greg's in Epping when me and him were down there. That was a proper random place and person to bump into.
Yeah. Right. Let's finish up. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you as usual. There's another friendly on Tuesday. There's another 2 friendlies on Tuesday. So do join us for the watch along. The new episode of the Hammer It Out podcast is up for the patrons if you're up there. So go and give that a listen if you're a patron. Leave a like on that. There will be highlights of that coming out during this week before we record the new one as well. The football's starting again, so we're not stopping. And we're going to be going all summer. And we'll see you next week for another Friday Night Pint. One thing I have to say, gentlemen.
Come on, you wires.